Okay, so now after creating the backend part for the admin, now I'm going to the front end and creating a separate custom page which is going to be called create post, and it's going to be only admin restricted, so only admin can view it. So we remember in the last time we did this part where we signed the JWT with our admin. So remember we have to go back to our Mongo database and connect it and see if that new user is actually created, because when I log back in, it should be created now with my admin status as false. So by default I actually set it as false. If you could go back to the code, if you go to the user.model, so by default it's set to false. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back here. You could go to the database, and then over here we're going to go to the browse collections, and over here we're going to find the so right now nothing is there because we essentially have nothing there. So it's basically this account, I believe. If we go to /profile, so 1 second, if we go to /profile, so okay, so over here if we go to the /profile page, so I'm refreshing it and seeing if that actually renders. So it's actually not profile, it's called dashboard. I don't know why. But yeah, dashboard page, and in here we have dashboard, question, tabs, you go to profile. Yeah, you have this 1676. I don't know if this is somewhere over here. 1676. It's this one. And right now it's not there, so I'm going to have to sign out. Now the sign out functionality has been done. We're going to sign in with Google again. We're going to use that same email address, right? So we're going to use the same email address. But now what happens is that if we go back to the /dashboard, so I'm going into the dashboard page. Now over here we're going to go to the profile, and you can see 1676 is still there. But now if I refresh, I'll have another field which is going to be called admin, and is admin is going to be false, set to false. So 1 second over here. So we have 1676 and nothing else essentially. So we have, what I believe is that it's already created and then it just retrieves that existing account. What we have to do is essentially delete this account. Okay, now it's going to be removed from the database. Now we're going to try to log in with that same exact account. So this is really amazing because we're testing all that functionality that we created recently. Now if we go back here, it's now going to create a new one with a new username. It's not going to be 1676. So now we go / dashboard, so dashboard, and then we have question, tab is equal to profile. So if you go over here, now you can see 1827 is the new one. Refresh it here. So we have 1827, and then we have admin to false. We could actually modify this and say this is true, right? So I basically now modified it, update it, and now you can see that this is how the person has been a admin by manually adding in the database. So all these others are just users, but I'm an admin. Now essentially I want to create a page which is going to be called create -post, which I'm only going to be allowed to create a post and no one else. Only admins are allowed to do that. So for that particular case, remember in the inspect, if you go to the Redux over here and you go to this payload, so you could see over here we have theme, so we have a current user, and you could see over here the is admin is set to false right now in the beginning. But when I refresh it, because I already set it, so payload and current user, and is admin is still set to false. What I believe what I think is if I go to the state and is admin set to false, didn't it reflect? I thought it should be reflecting the change, but yeah, let's see. So in the database it's true now. Over here, the current user is set to false. Okay, so I believe I'm gonna have to maybe sign out and then sign in Google account, this one. Okay, great. Current user, so sign in success, there you go. User, and then we have current user, is admin set to true. Perfect. So I had to basically restart this. And now if I go to the states, I don't know why it's undefined, but if I go to the states, okay, yeah, if I go to the state and in here I go to the current user, right now it's null for some reason. I'll go to the /profile, 1 second, /profile. So we have state chart raw, I mean, what is it, state chart raw, these are all, you know, init. Okay, so rehydrate, yeah, so rehydrate it, and then you could see over here we have set to true. Perfect. So essentially, you know, you got my point. We have to now create a create post page that only admins could view, no one else could. So to do that, let's go back here, close this out, you know, close this all, and then collapse this. And essentially what you want to do to get started with this is you have to go to the, you know, the client folder, and in here we remember the source folder and components, and we had the dash profile. So remember there was a dash profile, just 1 second. So if you remember that in the dashboard page, dashboard question tab is equal to profile. Remember in this page we have a submit button. We want to also have a create post button over here, so that you know, this one allows us to update the profile of the user, but we also want to put button to have us create a new post, right, for this blog website per admin, you know. So for admin purposes, what we want to do is we want to go back here, and we want to go all the way downwards where you could see that you know, where that button is you know, visible. So essentially right after the button that says update, so if I could find that button, so if I could find that button somewhere over here, let's see, zoom that out. Okay, return, and we have image, text. Okay, there's the submit button. So right after this submit button, what we want to do is we want to add in another one. We, instead of submit, we could have a button that says update. Okay, so what we want to do here is right after this update button, we want to add another button. So I'm going to add a button right here. Zoom in. Okay. Okay, so that button is going to be mostly for, you know, making the update functionality. So right now essentially you have this update which is right here. Just remove this. So what we want to do is add a button over here, and then over here we'll have the type is equal to you know, button, and then we have you know, we could just call it create a post. Now if I could just put it on the side, let me just see. So you can see this button over here. Let's see, right? So you see this button will create a post. What we want to do is we want to also have, you know, some kind of functionality here. So if I could go here, we have a button, right? So we want to say, first of all, we have to check if that current user is an admin. So we have, you know, the state, we could use, you know, the use state redux that's basically being persisted. We could use it by saying the squiggly bracket and say current user, and then we have dot is admin. If it's admin, okay, then you want to do is ampersand, and then we have round brackets, and in here we have this button. So this one, and then right after that we could have you know, if it's an admin, we could say create a post, and then we also want a link tag. So essentially we would have link to, and then we have just 1 second. So we have link, and then we have slash link close over here. One just a second. Yeah. So over here we could have two, and then we have you know, whatever link we want to put in. So essentially what we could do is, you know, we could navigate it to the create post page. Right now it doesn't exist, but you could essentially say, you know, I want to navigate to, so to, and then we have this slash create hyphen post whenever someone clicks on this. So it's basically like this. Then we have this button, type is button, and this is a flow by button, remember this one. So you could actually put in some kind of style to this too. So you could say gradient, duotone, and then we could have you know, strings, and we say purple to blue. Let's see how this looks. Oops. And then we have if I could say class name, what I believe is that, wait a minute, class name, and then we have with hyphen full. So 1 second over here, create a post. What happened here? Maybe my you know, flow byte isn't active or something. Let's just go back here, view. Let's go back here, inspect, and in the console we have link is not defined. Perfect. Let's just add that. It's not a problem at all. So you go here, which is right here, and then you could have control space, so control and space, and then add this link tag from, I'm gonna have to import it, no problem at all. So go up here, right here, and then we have import you know, link from React Router DOM. So now we have this, you know, looking button, which is okay. We could also put an outline here. So let's go back here. So you know, we have class name with full, type is button, so that it doesn't have that submit functionality, and essentially we have create a post. That's I mean, fantastic, because we're an admin, we are now able to see this. This is perfect, right? And if we weren't an admin, we wouldn't be allowed to see it. So you know, this is good. We also have to see that, you know, over here in the button, we have to put a use state and see if we're, you know, submitting the form or not. So to basically get that, we have to go up here, which is in the top, and we have to define a state, which is called loading. Okay. So go up here. So we go here in the states. So we have over here we could say const loading, and we have set loading, and then we have is use state. Okay, and then we could have false in the beginning. So essentially then you could handle the loading state. What we could do is actually, if you remember, this loading state could actually come from the user, you know, this current user. So current user, we have the error, and we also have the loading from here. So we do import all of these stuff, and then we have, remember this other. So we have state, and then we have inside the state we have state.user. Okay, and we're getting this use selector, and we're basically importing. Okay, so over here in the button part, which is right here, so what we want to do is we want to say if the thing is loading, button shouldn't say update, right? It should be disabled. So just go back here where you have, you know, the disabled part. So we could just say the button is disabled. So we say disabled. And we say the button is basically disabled if it's loading, or you know, if image, wait a minute, so if it's loading or the image file uploading thing is, you know, going. So basically we have already defined. So if it's you know, we could just disable things, the button, until, you know, everything is completed, and then, you know, you have it. And then when it's loading, you could just have the text, which is the text inside of the button. So right here, instead of having it just manually hard coded at saying update, you could say if it's you know, if it's loading. So we could say if it's loading, you could have it set to loading dot dot dot, and then if not, then you could have it set to update. So normally that is basically it, and we have, you know, we have mostly everything done. So we have loading question, and then we have loading, and if not, then we have the other. I gotta have to put in this quote, and that's the reason. Okay, I believe we're good to go now, and now that's good. I mean, we don't have the create post, so right now if I click on create post, you can see it goes there, but there's no page, or, you know, defined for that. So we're gonna go to the source, and in here we have components and we have pages. So we're gonna create a page, and it's gonna be called create post. Over here, let's create page dot JSX, and then we have rafc. Okay, and then we could just have create post over here. Now we have to register this in our app.jsx. So remember this app.jsx. Now remember, we did last time private route, so that only those authenticated could view this dashboard, right? So similar to this, we have to create another one which is only for admin, so only admin private route. So for that particular case, we have to go back to the components, and you can see over here we have private route, right? So we could just copy this. So I would just say copy and then paste. So we have another version of this. So over here we'll just rephrase this, or you know, rename this, and we'll call this only admin, and then we'll say private. So private, and then we have route, like that. Okay, so we have only admin private route. Go here, that's perfect. Copy this, and you could use this over here. So only admin private route, only admin private route. Perfect. So what you have to change here, mostly everything is the same. Okay, so we have a use selector from React Redux, and we have outlet, which is the children, and they navigate from React Router DOM. We have only admin private route, and then we have a current user, which is coming from use selector state and state.user. So that basically this is you know, the current user, and then we're saying you know, that if the current user is an admin, then return this outlet, right? So what I could actually do is have a condition. So you would basically have current user. If the current user exists, right? And so I have the ampersand. The current user dot is admin. If that's true, then we have this outlet. Okay. So we put this round bracket, and in here we could put in this outlet. So this thing, cut, and basically you could paste it right here. And if not, you could have this round bracket, and you could basically have this finished right here. I don't know why is this, you know, lone yeah, so this is there. Okay, so we have this. So we have navigate, and then we have to sign in, and then we have the outlet. So perfect. I believe everything is looking good. We can format document, and you know, we have this really nice looking only admin private route. Okay, so now that that's perfectly aligned, we could now go to app.jsx, right? And over there we just have to, you know, add this. So let's go back to app.jsx, which is right here, And what we could say is in the routes, we have this private route, which is the dashboard, right? But we also have another one, which is going to be called route. And then we have route, and then we have element is equal to, now first of all, we have to say, only admin private route. It's imported. I believe it's imported or not. Let's see. Yeah, it's imported. So we have like that closed, and then there's route should be closed like that. Okay, now inside of this route, so let me just zoom this in. So inside this only admin private route, what you want to add is the component you created, which is, sorry, not the component, but the page that you created, which is create post, right? So you could say route, and then say path is equal to, and then we have slash create hyphen post, okay? And then we have element, and that is essentially create page or create post. I think it's what was my component name? Create page. Why did I call it create page? I could have called it create post. So create post, create, because I'm creating a post, not a page, right? Create post. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, I believe everything is good. Now we just have to go back here, and we say create post. Okay, I believe now we could, yeah, import it. So create post from create post, man. Pages, create post. Okay, we have an issue. The problem is we have to rename the file as well. So the create post, come on. This is called a page, so it's in the create post. Now the error should be gone. Still that error persists. I believe we didn't finish it. Yeah. So over here we have create post, and then what happened here? So let's go here. Close this. So we have create post, and then we have like this. Okay. So we have the route closed here. Create post is going to be on the top, which is right here. So we have create post, perfect. And everything looks good. We're in the admin, only admin, part. So now we could only view it when we're admin. So, this create post is only viewable if you're an admin. We want to make that min height screen, right? So that this nav bar doesn't appear on the top. So you could just, change the styling in the create post page. So go to the create post page and add in the necessary styling and things that are required. So, to make it look nice and eye-catching. It's basically a page that has, multiple things. So first of all, let's go here. Okay. So first of all, what you could do is you could have a div class name and have the padding of 3. Okay, looks better. Then we have a max of max width of 3XL. And then we have MX auto, which is centering. Then we have minimum height screen, so height, and then we have screen. Okay, now check this out. The reason why we did that, now it pushed it all the way downwards. I believe that's perfectly done. Now in here we have hide 1, and then we have create post. You could just have this one removed, essentially. Okay, so this one is going to be called create a post. Create a post. Now the problem with this is not centered, so let's add in some styling. So first of all, this has to be centered, so text center. There you go. Then make it a little bold, text hyphen 3XL. Okay, and then you could have margin of Y7 from the top. You don't want it fully like that, like perfect. Then you're gonna have a little bold, semi bold, so font semi bold, and now it's looking better, really good. Okay, so now we have a form tag. So over here we'll have a form tag of form, and then we have in here we have a div that is going to contain two things. First, it's going to contain a text input, and this is coming from Flowbyte React. Okay, so this text input would contain a lot of things to consider. Let's not. Oh, I really like that. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna have this. That's actually an extension that I use to delete both things when when you target a tag. It's closing and starting. So over here we'd have a type which is text. So let me just have over here text. Come on. Save it. You can see this text field appearing. We have placeholder. Again, this is a part. This is actually how you would do it in Flowbyte. So title of the post, put it right there. Required. It's important to write it. ID could be title. Okay. And then we have one other thing, which is class name, and we want to style it to say that it would span across the entire screen. So we'll say flex-1. If I do this, this means in long screens, it's perfectly aligned to the center and it has a good width. So that's why I flex 1. Okay. Everything looks good there. We have one other thing, which is gonna be the select field. So this is a selector. This is also gonna be from Flowbyte React. Okay. And over here we have things like option. Okay. So, and the reason why I put it in a div is that I want them, in a row format. So right now I'm going to show you how to do it. Right now they're going to be on top of each other. So option value equal to uncategorized, and then we have select a category. And then we have option, and then we have value is equal to technology, or maybe we could just say JavaScript. Okay, and then we have the same for option. Value is equal to. Now these are different things, like you have different topics that you could talk about. So we could have React.js. You could add your own. I'm just writing blogs for programming. You could add in for different recipes or anything like that. So next JS, and we'll have next.js. Okay. So now you can see over here we have different categories. If you click on this, you could just select from here whatever category you want. Now look, of course, this doesn't look good. It's on top of bottom, and I don't want this. So we want this format better. So to make this format better, what you would do is you have this external div. Remember that div that I nested for both of these components? We say class name, and we could essentially have a flex here. So we have this nesting part done, and we'll have flex. So once I did that, it's on the right. So I could say flex call. Now once I do this, it's again the same thing. But I say what I would say is that it would have a gap of 3 for each or a gap of 4 for each different field. So it's a little spaced out. For small devices and higher, you don't want the flex to be like that, right? So right now for mobile devices, this is perfect. But for bigger devices, you want that as a flex row. And then now you'll see this, and then you'll have justify between. Now I'll show you the difference here. 1 second. So I don't have justify between unlocked right now, but you can see right now that it's in a row formation. Now once I save this, Control S, you can see that it's a really nicely organized way to do this, and this is exactly how I want it. And that's perfectly there. Over here in the select, and then we have the next part, which is right after this div. We have another option, and that's essentially for our input fields. Again, you could put them in a div, so you could have a div, and then you could have a closing tag here, and in here in this div you'd have the first one, which is file input, because we want to allow, and this is also part of FlowByte. So this file input allows us to input a file, an image for the blog, right? So you could actually have that self-closing tag here, and in here it's pretty simple. You'd have a type is equal to file, and then we'd have accept and equal to image, and then everything, so asterisk. And now you can see over here that we have this cool little thing too, so to input files, and it's also part of FlowByte. So we'll have accept, which is image, all kinds of images. Type is a file. Pretty much that's it right now, so that's good. Okay, I think we're good to go. Okay, so now we have the file input, and we also want to put a button here inside this, so they're basically nested together. So I could put a FlowByte button, and this button would have a type of just a button, not like those kind of submit buttons, right, for forms, but that's why I put the type to button, so that it doesn't create that kind of thing. Gradient duo tone, and we could just set it to purple to blue. Check this out. Okay, and then we have size of the button to be small, SM. Wow, that looks really nice. And then we have outline, that looks really good. And then we have this button, and inside the name of the button should be essentially called upload image. Just one second. Upload image. There you go. Looks good. Gotta fix this up, right? So this actual div, which is this one, which also gonna have a flex. So it's gonna have a class name, and it's gonna be flex. So you can see that's why it's perfectly there. And before all of this, I want to go in the form tag. So everything is nested in the form tag, right? So if you go to the form tag, which is right here, you could go class name, and then in here we have flex, and now it doesn't look really good, but you say flex call, right, for small devices right now. And then you'd have a gap of 4 to space these items out. It looks a little better, right? So now let's go in here where we were in this one, which has the the input field, which is the file input, as well as the button. So we'll have flex, and we'll have gap, which is 4. Okay, wait a minute. So we have flex, which is like that, and now we want to space them out because right now they're in row format. So we have gap 4, a little separated. That looks better. Items hyphen center looks better. Justify hyphen between looks even better. Border hyphen 4 has a nice border down. You could make the color of the border to something like teal 500. make the border dotted. Okay, and then you could have a padding of 3 all around. So check this out, how nice that looks like. So we have a title, enter the title, category, which blog is it, okay, and then we could upload our file. So we want to choose file, we could basically choose a file and then upload it accordingly. Looks very nice, I believe. So let's go back here, which is right here. Yeah, so let's go here and finish this up. We just need a place where we could actually write the blog text, right? So for that particular thing, I mean, we have React Quill. So and then we have a div, and then over here right after this we have React Quill. So React Quill. Now this is not there right now, it's not going to exist. So I'm going to tell you the reason how we could, I mean, the way we could actually add this. Right now, even if I add this tag, it's going to complain with so many, this error. So let's comment this out. And let's go to, over here. And we say npm.js.com. Or we could also go to, just type in React Quill. And go in this one, which is a rich text editor, okay? Quill component for React, and you can see over here it's so it's a rich text editor. If you go back here, it says over here rich text editor as a React component, and then we have latest version is this. All you got to do is go to this part, install it like that, npm install react -quill, and then save. So you have to put it in the client folder. Go here. Right now you're in the, you're in your server, and then you're in your server and client are running. Just add in another like this and go to client, so like that. Okay, I had to press in cd client like that. Paste in this npm install react -quill. Once you do this, you will have to uncomment that quill part that we brought, and then we'll be safe to use this import. So if you go back to the documentation, which is right here, you could go over here, you could see these things that they have imported. So import useState from React. We also have React Quill from React Quill, and we have React Quill's CSS. Okay, so we have to import these two things, and then we could use it here. So this is like theme Snow, and we'll adjust it with our dark theme as well, so that it could properly fix. Okay, great. So this has been added. We could remove this. Okay, safely go to our React Quill, and also put it on the analyze our site as well. So let's go back here and let's see what happens. So first of all, it's not imported, so what I would recommend is importing it right here. Okay, so once I imported React Quill from React Quill, and we have React Quill dist and quill.snow.css, let's go back here and just uncomment that out. Wow, that is amazing. So you have this rich text editor. Now we just have to fix all of this stuff out. Just add it to make it look good. First of all, it recommended a theme. Theme is Snow. So just say Snow. Just makes it better. Placeholder, you gotta add in, say something like write something amazing. Okay, so that's gonna be there. After that, we have class name. Now this is important. We want to fix this up because it's a little small. Height of 72. If we do this, it's extended. See that? It's pretty big. Now, it's better. And we could put a margin of bottom of 12. So this is good. We need this required. You have to put in some text for you to create a blog. And then we have, this button field. So we could have a button from Flowbyte. Okay, and then in here we have type, which is submit. Now this is finally the form button, right? The actual form button. We have submit, and we could have a thing called publish the blog, right? And we could put in a class name, and we could just say, actually we don't need a class name. We could just say gradient, and we're gradient duo tone, and we have gradient duo tone, and then we have purple to pink. Okay, you could also type in outline. This makes it like this. I mean, you would do that as well, but I'll just keep it without the outline. So essentially that's pretty much it with the UI. We have it responsive, and what we want to do, one more thing, is that okay, this, it has different functionalities built in, so it's pretty amazing. But one thing that is important over here is we gotta actually incorporate one other thing. So let me just have so one thing is that, suppose this is like normal. Refresh this. Okay, so this is normal, and you can see right now, write something amazing. I can't see that. I want to actually add styling for this as well. So if you go here, I normally can't see this. This is React Quill, right? I just imported that, and it generally creates this whole thing. But there's HTML for this. If you go to the Elements tab, right, and you click on this, like, what is this, man? Just click on this. You can see this is actually a div class. So essentially, this whole thing is a div class Quill H72 and MB 12, margin bottom 12. But in here, that's what we did, right? But in here, we have a Quill class name QL toolbar QL snow. Okay, and then we have QL container, and then in here we have. So what we want to do is we want to modify the container here, QL editor, and we want to change it up. So you know what I'm talking about. Now this is the generated HTML, and we have to target that HTML, and we have to customize it. So we could go to the index.css file, and over here we could just add in some of the things that might be required, just like how we could have the body of the entire web application to like a specific viewport. So we could have a height of 100 viewport height. Okay, so we could also have the QL editor. So remember I was talking about, if you go here, this is QL-editor. That's how you get the class. You could target the class by saying .QL editor -editor. Okay, and then you want the text to be a little bit better or bigger, so you could say font -size. By default, we want the size at least 1.05. Now this is rem. Now rem means normally it's 1 rem, right? But I want 0.5, so it means 5% bigger than normal or usual. Okay, 5% bigger than usual. If you look over here, it's a little bigger. It's a little bigger. Looks good. Okay. Now we have a placeholder, which is write something amazing, which is good. I mean, everything else looks good. So what we could do is right now I would ignore the placeholder. So where's this? Save this and go to the, why is this not saving, man? Save this, go to the create post, remove this placeholder for now. I don't know why this happened. Okay, so Control X, and I'll go back here, refresh. Okay, so I believe this is perfect. I mean, check this out. I mean, look how awesome this is. Well, in the QL editor, whenever I type something, you'll see a paragraph tag has been generated, right? And when I press enter key, another paragraph has been generated. So whenever I press an enter key, a paragraph has been generated. This is my DOM. And it has all these functionality. If it turn into a light mode, I mean, it's still, you could see it's all visible. And it's also responsive, the best part about this. Make the heading bigger, make it bold, make it italic, underline, add in, you know, a link, take it to google.com. You know, everything is functional. So this is turned into a link. Yeah. So I mean, you could also have bullet points. So bullet points, or even these, and so you know you'll have all these functionalities there. So thanks for watching this one. And now in the next part, we're gonna create an API to actually submit this post, so that it could be saved in a database, and then hopefully we will create more. I mean, what we also have to do is when we click on this choose file, we want to see that image being uploaded on maybe Firebase, and we also want to see a preview of the image. And then once we do that, we will create the API to publish this, and then hopefully we'll continue from there.